So, when it comes to creating your LinkedIn strategy, where do you start? Well, the best place to start is always at the beginning. So come here to linkedin.com and then sign up here on the registration form. As it says, registration takes less than 2 minutes. And of course, LinkedIn, the basic account, is free. So I'm just going to fill out my name and email address in here. And you can see I've entered my name and email address in there, and you create a password and then click on the button here that says join now. It takes you through to this page where LinkedIn will help you to build your professional profile, and you can see these entries here with the red asterisk are required. Now, first thing you enter is your country, and it'll usually detect this from your IP address. I'm in the UK, so it's entering United Kingdom. But you can also, if you wish, choose from the drop-down menu here. And so if you're away from where you usually are when you set this up, you can enter the correct information. Then you want to enter your postal code or zip code. And then it'll ask you to select whether you're employed, a job seeker, a student, and you can also check the box here for self-employed. Now I'm going to set this up for someone who's employed because later on I'm going to have a company profile, so I'm going to assume that I do actually have a corporation. And so let's enter my job title as Head of Marketing. And we'll enter the company in here, and then it'll check online to see if there is already a company out there with this name. So if you work for a large corporation, it'll automatically link it to your company's page. As this is just a made-up company, obviously there isn't anything out there at all. So we can just clear that. And then we have the industry, and you can select that from the drop-down menu. And your profile is going to act as a springboard for most of your other activities. And here the idea is to sell yourself and to make yourself look professional and accomplished while doing so. Now, LinkedIn is going to give you a number of tools and areas through which to accomplish these objectives, and we'll look at each of them in order. So we'll click here on Create My Profile. Okay, now the next thing it's going to want to do is to get your email address and to ask for access to your address book. And you want to skip this step for the moment, because what they will do is they will then contact people who are already members of LinkedIn and invite them to view your profile. And they'll also send an invitation to people who are in your address book who are not on LinkedIn and invite them to join. Now, there are two reasons why you want to skip this step at this stage. First of all, you don't really want to tell people about your profile until you've got it already set up, because they'll send them an email and they'll go and look at your profile and it won't be complete, and they'll click away and your chance of connecting with them will be lost forever. Secondly, you want to be very selective about who you invite to look at your profile and who you decide to connect with. And I'll cover that in a bit more detail later on in this video series. But for the moment, we're just going to click here and skip this step. The next step you'll come to is to get the app for things like your iPhone, iPad, Android mobile phone, and so on. Because obviously I can't record what goes on an Android phone or an iPhone in this video, we're just going to skip this step here. So click here on this button. Now it tells you your account is set up and you can choose your plan level. You can choose the premium version of LinkedIn, or you can choose the free basic account of LinkedIn. If you choose the basic account, you can always upgrade to premium later on, and I'll talk about that a bit later in this video series. But for the purposes of this video demonstration, I'm going to choose the basic account. So just click here on Choose Basic. Okay, and there we go. This is the profile set up, and it looks a bit basic at the moment. And they do have ways that you can talk you through adding things like what school you went to and that sort of thing. But what I'm going to do here in this video is I'm going to show you a different way of doing it, which can get much better results than just the plain standard way of setting up a LinkedIn profile. Okay, the first thing that you're going to want to change is your headline, and that is this bit here. You see it says Edward Martin, Head of Marketing at DM Solutions, which is a bit boring. So I'm going to click here on where it says, or rather I'm going to click here on this little icon here that looks like either a pen or a pencil. I can't quite make out what it is. So click on that. And now you can enter in your professional headline. So I'm just going to highlight all that and delete it. And then I've got another headline that I've written out in my word processor and then copied and pasted to the clipboard. So let's just paste that in there, Control and V. And then click here on Save. And there you go. It's telling anybody who comes to my profile a lot more than just my job title and company. You can see it says Internet Marketer, Digital Entrepreneur and Business Consultant, helping businesses to connect with customers and clients. Now, whatever you put here, you want to try to make sure that it's short and succinct, while at the same time professional, impressive and descriptive. You know, the idea is to make yourself sound like someone that people would want to work with if they're in your field. At the same time, though, you should also aim to put across a bit of personality and to help make yourself feel somewhat approachable. Now, this doesn't mean that you should try to be funny or quirky in your headline, and this can come across as desperate and may actually undermine your ability to appear professional, so you'd want to avoid that. But, think about it this way. What you're trying to do is you're trying to sum up your professional persona in a single line. And this means that you want to encompass what you do for a living, your mission statement, your goals, your history, as much as you possibly can, but within a bite-sized form. And you have 120 words to play with here, so you can get, a reasonable description in there. Now, the next thing you want to do is your summary. I have to scroll down a bit for that, because it doesn't actually show it when you first sign up. Oh yes, one other thing here. What you want to do here, it says notify your network. You want to turn that to no for the time being. And then once you've got all of your profiles set up, then you can turn this back on. But if at any stage you've already got people, from Gmail, or you've been sent an invitation to sign up to LinkedIn from someone who's already a member, then that will notify them immediately. And you want to make sure that your profile is complete before you start to share it with any potential contacts. Okay, that's just a bit of a sidebar there. Okay, what you want to do here is click where it says View More, and then click here where it says Add Summary. And it opens up a window like this. And, don't spend too much time trying to cram everything into your summary, though, as that's what your profile summary is for. This is the next field that you can use to enter your details into, that you can use to attract potential business partners and clients. And this is where you'll go into a little bit more detail explaining what it is you do for a living and what the key elements of your business are and your major achievements. Now, the best way to think about this section of your profile is to imagine that you're at a professional party or event and someone comes up to you and asks what you do. Now, your job is to answer that question in about a paragraph or maybe two, while at the same time selling yourself. Unlike at a party, though, you don't need to worry too much about boring the other person when you're writing your LinkedIn profile. And it's a good idea to write out your summary in your word processor first, so you can get it just right, and then you can copy and paste it in. So let me just do that now. And once again, I'm taking the example of a digital marketing expert. And you might want to say something like this. I am the founder and owner of DM Solutions, a small business providing digital marketing solutions. I help companies and individuals to increase their visibility on the web through search engine optimization, branding, content marketing, influencer marketing, and social media marketing. I have worked with a large number of clients in the past, included I Loved Mince Pies and Lanyards R Us, both of which saw significant increase in traffic, turnover and profits thanks to the efforts of myself and my team. I have also several other professional interests, including web design, programming and more. I am the developer of a very successful app and have an extensive background and qualifications in business management, marketing and graphic design. I'm currently open to working with any and all new clients, so please get in touch if you require my services in any capacity. Now, do you notice that this summary performs three main roles? It outlines the specifics of what DM Solutions does, it shows how this helps the business, and it demonstrates a clear potential return on investment, and it gives a little background. What's more, it also invites readers to get in touch, which right away opens lines of communication. Don't be afraid to outright ask for the kinds of connections you want to make. Are you looking for sponsors on your YouTube channel? Great, then ask for them. Are you looking to get into fitness modeling? Again, mention this and invite agencies to get in touch. While writing any aspect of your LinkedIn profile, try to keep in mind the following objectives. First of all, the content should be grammatically correct with no errors in spelling or punctuation. The tone should be professional but human, like you might see on a CV or resume, but with a little more personality. And you should try to keep it brief and aim to give the most information with the fewest words. Here's tip number 1. Your summary and your headline do not need to be static fields. You can update and freshen up the information you provide about yourself regularly. For instance, what was your biggest accomplishment this year? As we age, we gather experiences, accomplishments and knowledge, so you have to keep updating your profile to ensure that it conveys everything that you have to offer. Tip number 2. Ditch the buzzwords. Remember how you were always told to say things like teamwork and synergy and initiative on your CV. Well, that's old advice and it's becoming something of a cliche. So try to avoid making the age-old mistake of using big and impressive sounding words to say, well, nothing much at all really. Instead, focus on being honest, genuine and likable. Likability is a big factor. No one wants to work with someone who comes across as being unpleasant. And finally, tip number 3. If you're not confident in your writing skills, then write it yourself and have a proofreader look over it. Many writing agencies offer this service quite cheaply. Or you can alternatively ask a friend or relative with good writing skills to do it for you. The next section for you to fill out is your experience. And here you can add each of your different job roles and briefly highlight the skills that you learned working in those capacities. If you currently own your own business, as many watching this will do, then remember to make sure that you include that here. At the same time, put down any jobs that sound good and that help you develop the experience you have today. Remember, the rate you charge will be directly related to the experience you have in your industry, so show your clients why you deserve the rates you're going to ask for by demonstrating your decorated career so far. One tip though is to make sure that you only include relevant job roles. The ideal scenario is that each of your former positions was in the same industry and that they together demonstrate your ascent through the ranks to become the best in your business. It's okay to include job roles from previous career paths, however, such as the time you thought you wanted to be a lawyer. Just make sure that in the description you mention how it benefited you and you try to link it to your current position. So, if you're currently offering web design services and you want to include your work experience as a waiter, make sure you focus on how you learn to deal with clients and listen to their requirements, skills that transferred nicely to your current role. Always try to keep in mind the outcome that you want from your LinkedIn profile and then paint everything on the page in that light. Okay, tip number 1. Avoid trying to list part-time jobs and other non-relevant information. If you spent your summer working for a local paper round, well, leave it out. Including this kind of experience only makes it look as though you're clutching at straws. If you're fresh out of college and you want to find a job, then it may be useful. For serious professionals looking for networking opportunities and clients, though, leave it out. And tip number 2. You have the option here to list documents, photos, links and videos to back up what you say. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you can provide some evidence, then this will help you to inspire more confidence and trust. Okay, now let's add a project. And the project section is your real opportunity to show off and to demonstrate what you can do. And you can use this to showcase your personal projects, such as an app, a book, or website that you might have created on the side, but you can also use it to showcase your best work within your current position. For instance, if your last organization left you in charge of relations with a big client and it turned out well, then that's something you can list as a project. Likewise, if you recently provided work for a big client to help them promote themselves or cut their overheads or design a website or whatever, then this is something else you can list. And this section is particularly useful for self-employed entrepreneurs and startups. Now, if you list your own business as your only experience, then this isn't going to inspire a lot of confidence for your clients on its own. They might it might be that you actually spend all the time sitting at home in your pajamas claiming benefits. By listing high-profile clients that you've worked with, though, and by listing the results that you've helped them to achieve, you can show that your business is one that should be taken seriously and that you really know what you're doing. Note, though, that you need to check with your clients before listing them by name. Okay, now you want to add skills. So let's click here on skills. And here is where you can list all the skills that you have in all your areas of expertise. And you do this by searching for keywords, and this is one of the main ways in which potential clients and partners will find you. Try to be comprehensive here, but again, avoid overreaching. If you start adding skills like makes a mean carbonara, it'll come across as though you don't have any actual marketable skills. This is the equivalent of listing your work experience as a school cleaner when you're trying to promote yourself as a lawyer. Laser focus has the benefit here of making you look like a master of your trade. At the same time, by having a smaller selection of skills, you'll find that you get more endorsements for each individual one. And this means that people have ticked yes when LinkedIn has asked them whether you really know about what you claim to know about. Tip number 1. Make sure you make an effort to endorse other users for their skills. When you do that, you'll find that they tend to feel obligated to reciprocate in kind, and you'll quickly build up a long list of endorsements. Let me just talk you through a couple of other things here. The education section is where you're going to list your qualifications, and here you can add any college, university, high school and extracurricular education, as well as any courses you've completed. Again, you also have the option to add documents, photos and videos as evidence that you really do have the qualifications that you say you have. Now, as with your projects, there's no requirement to do this, but it certainly doesn't hurt. And likewise, as with your work experience, try to avoid adding qualifications that don't relate to your current business in any way. That cycling proficiency certificate you got when you were 6, well, you can leave that one out. Let's scroll down a bit more and show you another thing here. And this is honors and awards. And this gives you the option to showcase any crowning achievements, and this can be a great way to sell yourself a little more. If you haven't headed up many projects in your line of work, but you've repeatedly been Employee of the Month, then this is where that might belong. Again, think about what you're bragging about and whether that will actually impress anyone, though. Now, as a general tip, you want to fill in all the details on your profile, and let's just scroll up a bit here at the top. You can see here, as you add more and more information in, so your profile strength will rise. The old adage that a picture tells 1,000 words is certainly true when it comes to picking a picture for your profile. And no matter how hard you've worked to write yourself a bio that will stand out and make people want to do business with you, a poorly chosen picture can completely undermine all that hard work if you're not careful. So, how do you go about picking a picture that will show you in the best light and that will work with you to help build connections and business opportunities? Well, the first thing you need to consider is that your photo should be of yourself, obviously, with your face prominently visible. The next thing to do is to ensure that the photo looks friendly and approachable, but at the same time professional. Now, this definitely isn't a scenario where you want to use a picture from your latest night out on the tiles, nor do you want a picture of yourself hugging your pet pooch. Instead, the best LinkedIn profile pictures will simply be of you in a shirt or suit, smiling for the camera. Ideally, though, you want to avoid anything that looks too staged or forced. Don't make the common mistake of dressing up in a suit at home and taking a picture in your home office. You'll look like an idiot. If you don't normally wear a suit, then look for a picture of yourself in smart clothes. For example, if you've attended a wedding recently, then take a look through those pictures and try to find something appropriate. Smiling is still important though, because, again, you want to create a profile that makes people want to work with you. Then again, this shouldn't be a smile that says, "I'm having a great day out." You want one that looks dependable, approachable, and reliable. And likewise, try to pick something that makes you look attractive. You might not expect this to matter, but actually, studies show that better looking people tend to get better jobs and do better in interviews. Now, it can be difficult for us to tell which photos of ourselves are the most attractive, so if you're unsure, try asking a friend or relative which of your pictures works best. Okay, tip number 1. You can also add a cover image, just like on Facebook. And this is a good way to make your profile more eye-catching, and it's a great way to enhance brand awareness. If you have a logo, then adding this to a black background and making it your cover image will help tie all your products and services together and will aid in your attempts to build authority. Keywords are very important when it comes to LinkedIn, and I'll be covering how you get those sorted in the next video.